In this video, I'm going to give my honest thoughts on the new rank system in Season 18. I'll also be giving you some tips on what you'll need to do if you want to rank up fast. Quick side note before I get into the tips, I don't have a ton of games from playing myself as I've been so busy coaching other players in ranked, so some of the footage just isn't going to be from the ranked mode. If you're a first-time viewer, I've hit Masters many times, and I also coach players trying to get there for the first time or even well beyond it. Let's start out with my thoughts though, because once you understand how things have changed this season, the tips that I give you will then make that much more sense. All right, look, the most important things you got to know about ranked this season is that it's very reminiscent of Season 13. If you guys remember back then, Season 12 was an easy season to reach Masters, and then in Season 13, they made it very difficult, and a lot of players actually stopped playing the game, and they quickly reverted halfway through the season. Now, the pros loved that season, and once again, I think the pros have spoken pretty positively so far about the rank changes in Season 18. Now, I'm not a huge fan of it for a couple reasons. Now, the first reason is that solo queuing and the matchmaking is very strict. What I mean by that is silver and gold is basically platinum and diamond, and you are going to be fighting people who are not silver skill level or not gold skill level, but more of like masters and predators. And that means that it's going to take you much longer to reach ranks like Diamond, Masters, and Predator. And while that's fine for the people who don't typically get there, for the players who get there normally, this feels like a very exhausting process. Because I can understand why the pros like it. They want something that's really competitive, that they get to play and grind for 8 to 16 hours a day. But the rest of us, we don't have that type of time, and it's just not feasible. Not to mention, 99% of them 3-stack with 2 other pro players, making their experience drastically different from the average players. But right now, with no splits in place and how the rank system stands today, it's going to take a long time to rank up. Another big qualm I have with it is that solo queuing is essentially useless. Most games I'm paired with a duo, and while sometimes they can be helpful, most of the times they just run off and do their own thing, and then they turn on their mic and talk crap to you as soon as they do something dumb and die.
Bro, what are you doing? Like, are you gonna help me, cover me when you revive me?
Whereas previous seasons, solo queuing was never great, but at least it was a little bit better because you didn't feel like you were going up against such oppressive teams in the lower ranks. You would definitely feel that in Diamond and above, but if you were just trying to get to, say, Platinum and you had been there every season before, you would not be struggling super hard in Silver. Now, I've probably only played about 20 ranked games because I've been doing so much coaching and working on videos, but a lot of the coaching I have done is with players who are trying to rank up. And I'm seeing players who have been to Masters before and they're getting placed in Silver or Bronze, and they're sweating it out in these lower ranked lobbies. And this doesn't make a ton of sense to me because what is the Silver or Bronze level player getting placed into? Are they a part of a separate tier of Bronze that has its own matchmaking? Or are they a part of Rookie ranked or both? This whole MMR system is a bit crazy to me. I did 10 placement matches and was placed in Silver 1. I've also had friends who have been Masters or Pred before and were placed in Silver or even Bronze. I've also had friends who have never made it to Masters before and they were placed in Bronze. I mean, how does that even make any sense? Well, anyways, it feels like we're at a point where ranked is just looking for the most amount of engagement. Now, Apex could be making the argument that they're placing players in lower ranks because the season is longer now without any splits. And while I could agree with that concept in theory, there shouldn't be a static buy-in all the way up until Diamond. The buy-in should scale like it did in the past, so that the players who aren't actually of a lower tier could quickly get out of that lower tier if they were happen to be placed in one. If you're a Bronze, Silver, or Gold level player, please comment down below and tell me what it's like for you. What were you placed in? And what have the games been like? Because there very well could be many different levels to these ranked lobbies. And while I can understand Apex's reasoning behind that, it's not something I'm really interested in. I've done the grind so many times, and now the rewards are less than what they were before. Not to mention, the rewards were never really that great to begin with. It was definitely cool getting it a few times, but 6, 7, 8 different times, it's really not a big deal. And with the recycled dive trails now being removed, it feels like less of an incentive, if that was even possible. Putting all that aside, if you want the best tips to rank up, well, here's what I got to tell you. Right now, with the point system, you really should only be fighting off drop if you're forced to, or if you find like a good third-party opportunity. If you're just scouring the map looking to be aggressive, Especially while you're solo queuing, you're asking to lose points. You don't really gain a heck of a lot of points if you die in 10th place or above with some KP. Like, the points are so negligible, and most of the time you'll just go negative. So what you really want to do is, if you get that early fight off drop because you kind of have to, or it's an easy opportunity, you want to focus on playing zone and waiting for the squads to dwindle down. Once that happens, continue to look for good opportunities that put you in a winning position. This is no longer a run it down, mindless rank game mode, which I appreciate for sure. That is one of the better parts about this system. Previous seasons, it felt like just pubs with some rewards. Now, it doesn't feel like that. But if you're not interested in spending a lot of time on this ranked season, you're probably not going to reach the rank that you previously used to, unless something drastically changes in the next month or so. I know it's only been a week in, but I feel like I've seen a ton of data to support what I'm saying. Second tip I have is play a comp that benefits you in multiple different areas. So what comes to mind is definitely a skirmisher, a legend like Pathfinder, Valkyrie. Horizon's helpful, but Wraith could substitute in as well. You want a legend that can help navigate you and your squad throughout the map, especially since the ring moves differently now. It's going to play out faster, and you don't want to get caught in some of these later rings, especially when teams prioritize that positioning and just gatekeep you while you died around 3 zone. So if you have that navigator on your squad, you're also going to want to look for somebody who can provide some value, like one of the controller legends. Getting that next ring knowledge will really go a long way if you're focusing on playing for zone. Without it, you'll be playing the guessing game, and if you're experienced in it, well, you'll probably have a leg up over the average player, but sometimes you'll just be wrong anyway. Having a controller legend to lock down areas and to get that next ring knowledge will be crucial. I think we'll see a lot more of these controller legends be picked as the ranked season progresses. And lastly, you can really flex either one of the assault legends, although I don't think they're really that good. If you were going to go assault, I'd probably have to recommend Bangalore. And then you've got recon options or support options. Obviously, Lobe is helpful if you're not taking a ton of fights, so you can still gather loot. Newcastle, Lifeline, Gibby, any of these legends that provide that support aspect are going to be helpful. And if you want to go recon, it's really Crypto, Bloodhound, or Seer, depending on your playstyle. I think the good news is that this ranked mode allows for a lot of diverse legend comps, but you really want to be in tune with them. And the third tip is, just don't solo queue. Solo queuing is going to be extremely rough for 99% of you. You might see somebody like his Watson solo queue to Pred and think, I can do it too. I doubt it. If you can, good, go for it, but most of you won't be able to, and most of you aren't going to be paid thousands of dollars in exchange for doing so, so think about that when it comes to the incentive for why he might go and do something like that. Solo queuing ranked is insanity. For the most part, it's a horrendous experience, and you might get one good game every, 15 or 20 games, but those other 14 games are terrible, and it's going to be very, very frustrating. At the very least, if you could find one player who's a similar rank as you, similar skill level, ranking with them will be a little bit better than just rolling the dice and solo queuing. This is not a very forgiving solo queue season. And unfortunately, they refuse to make lobbies that are differentiated by the players who are solo queuing versus the players that are playing with pre-made squads. So you're doing yourself, like I am, a huge disservice solo queuing and figuring it out. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn all about the best and worst legends this season, be sure to check out this video next. Thanks for watching. Peace.